Hello, fellow rosarians. Thank you for joining me today. So have you ever had a task in the garden that you just dread? For me, for whatever reason, I have been dreading Easy Does It. Let me pan down here for you. This is a 2-year-old rose, but she has been so happy for us that she's put out a ton of basal rags. And when I did the spring prune for the rest of the garden, I just put her off and said, I'll do a video and show everybody how to tackle a monster in the garden. So that's what we're going to do today. And I'm so happy that you're here with me, because if you weren't, I might not do it. I might just let her go. I've done videos of Easy Does It. I'll pop that up here. She is absolutely beautiful and full of blooms and very hardy. I really, really love her coloring. So I highly recommend her, but keep in mind, if she's as happy as mine, she's going to put out a lot of basal breaks and be very full. So first, let's think about, what does a rose look like when you get it? When you first get it, it's got, 3 or 4 canes. And do we drive it back to 3 to 4 canes? No, you still want to get a nice shape to it, but you can take it back that far if you really want to try to confine a rose that's going nuts. But we're going to try to take down some of the canes. The thicker canes I'll take down because they're older, and I'm going to have a ton of really fresh green canes. I don't really know what else we've got going on here, and so I'll try to get close. But let's start. I've got my table out here. I've got my pruners, alcohol, my bag to put everything in. So let me go ahead. Let's get this set up here for you so that you can see. Let me get back here. Here we are. This is her 3rd year, and she is, chest high already, hasn't had her spring prune. Her leaves are beautiful, dark green. She is just going to be really happy. If I didn't get to this, is she going to be okay? Yes. She's just going to be really, really tall. So my goal is, when I do a spring prune, let's take them down to knee height. Each flower that she has, we're going to take her down 1/3 of whatever height she gets. So right here at the beginning of the season, I should have said, I'm in Maryland Zone 7B. I'm in a very humid environment. So what I do at the beginning of the season is take them down to knee height, defoliate it, and spray it with neem oil. So I've got my handy dandy pail here with my pruners and 70% alcohol so that they're sanitized and clean. I don't go and use alcohol on each cane, because as we get in here and bring it down to knee height, unless I see a fungus or black spot, I'm not worried about transferring anything around, because the neem horticultural oil that I spray is also going to suppress anything at the beginning of the season. So the first thing that we do to get in here is take it down to knee height, and don't get overwhelmed looking at anything else. So let me go ahead in here first. Where's my knee? Okay. I've got KebTech pruners in case some of the canes were too thick to get through, but I only really pull those out when something is just too thick for me or my hands are too tired. So it's like walking around a mountain and figuring out how you want to attack the mountain. You could spend a lot of time walking around it, but it's just easier to dig in and then see what you're dealing with. The only way that we can see what we're dealing with is to get these canes down and to defoliate it. Don't worry about the angle of the cut. We're going to use prune sealer. We're not worried about canes rotting because we haven't cut them at a perfect angle. Okay, I think that this is a good start. I'm going to move my camera down now and pick up my mess. So here we are now, and she is taken down to about knee height. What we're going to do now, before we do anything else, looking for cross, disease, damaged, is we're going to defoliate the rose. I'm going to keep my bin close so that I can do my best getting this into the out of the bed. So to tackle this, I'm just going cane by cane. And for me, it's easier to not get overwhelmed if I'm just trying to do one cane at a time and not worry about the scope of the whole project, because then I can just get overwhelmed and say, another day. So I always like to tell you, what does it mean for you if you don't have time to do some of these steps? So as I mentioned, if you don't cut it back when it's already, at a larger size than you would like, it's just going to keep growing. And for us, we get such high winds, the canes could break in the wind and cause damage to the rose. Besides canes breaking, what else? Well, it just might overgrow its area. You kind of want the blooms at eye height so that you can enjoy seeing them and smelling them. And sometimes when you let them go really tall, they only bloom on the top, kind of like a climber that hasn't been trained, and it pushes all of its energy to that top growth, and so that's where you're going to see the blooms instead of at eye height. So what else? If I don't defoliate the rose and the leaves look so pretty and green, I'm tempted to leave them, but if you leave them, they have bugs that you can't see that are microscopic, or larvae, little babies that are in all of the nooks and crannies. And so there's a chance that, they've overwintered, and you're just setting it up for an uphill battle during the season to manage the bugs. Also, if it has a fungus on the leaves like black spot, powdery mildew, again, you're just setting yourself up for having to use chemicals. And so by going this route and being proactive at the beginning of the season, you're just setting up your roses for success. Oh my gosh, we're on the home stretch, people. I'm gonna put up on the screen exactly how long it takes so that as you're looking at a monster in your garden that needs to be addressed, you'll see how long it took me to do this, and hopefully it'll encourage you that although it looks a little bit overwhelming, intimidating, that I'm hoping it's 10 minutes or less to give it a good start. I am seeing some winter leaves from surrounding trees in the center. I'm going to use a leaf blower off camera on this to blow it out. If your environment has thrips or any other kind of mite that you know about, I love a leaf blower, but it's not for you because you want to not spread those mites all over. So just be aware. And if you don't know if you're dealing with that, better safe than sorry, and don't use the leaf blower. All right, I'm done with the defoliation. Mark the clock on that. Let me grab my leaf blower. Okay, there's still a couple of leaves in there, but I did a good job getting everything out. Let's now look for anything that's dead, disease, damage. I'm going to get the camera closer so hopefully you can see it. Okay, so let's look in here real quick. We've got the entire shrub here. It's kind of hard to see with the soil beneath it, but let's look here. First, you want to take out anything that's definitely dead. How do we know it's dead? It's twiggy, it's brown. You can definitely tell a color difference between the green and what has died. This is called winter dieback here, where we just had a cold snap. And that's why we leave the extra length on the rose. I bring it up to waist or chest high during the winter so that if it has dieback, I still have a lot of growth to work with. So let's get in here and take off everything that's twiggy. I also want to take off anything that is smaller than a pencil. So like this here, I've got so many canes in here. We can take off everything that's small and still have a lot to work with. I think when we also look at it, is there anything, so we've talked about dead, is there anything diseased? Diseased would be with spots. So this could be an aging cane, or it could be the start of black spot. So anything that's just not a nice green, if you can do without it, get rid of it. And so if you look here at this cane, this entire cane, neem is going to suppress this if it is black spot, but I can get rid of it because I have so many other nice canes near it. So I'm just going to take that one totally off. So let's look for damage. Have the deer come through and snapped anything? I'll take care of that. And so then let's also look for anything that's crossing into the center. So let me go ahead and get started here and see what we are working with. I'm going to do this with one hand since I don't have a good stand. So because I don't have my second hand to grab these, I'm going to let them fall into the base of the rose. But first, let's go ahead and take out everything that I know is dead. I'm just going to take all of these tips so that I can get a better idea what's going on in here. Let's see, I've got a tip right here. Grab my alcohol just to be safe. All right, so that is it for everything that is twiggy and brown, the dead. Let's look at the diseased. So I talked to you about anything that has spots. This does, and I'm going to sanitize in between each cut for this because some of the canes don't have it. So I'm going to take this one down. I see a node down here. I'm going to take it down to that node. What other canes are looking suspicious? Let's go ahead and take that one. This is how a cane looks when it's getting older. It becomes more woody, but you can see that it's got some green growth on it. We talked about taking this one all the way down. I could definitely use the KevTech on that one. All right, I think it's time now to get into the middle of the bush. And let's see what we're working with if we take out everything that is crossing in. We just want things that are kind of going up. So let me go ahead and take out everything that is heading in the wrong direction. I'm also going to address anything that is smaller than a pencil. This one is kind of going in a wonky direction and it's smaller than a pencil. What else? If we look at the overall shape of it, it's kind of, you know, this backside heading out a little bit. So I'm going to start looking at it from a shape view and seeing if there's things that I want to correct. This is one of those things where you don't need to be stressed about getting it perfect. You're going to have an opportunity every single time this rose plushes, or whenever you feel like it, honestly, to give it a little trim. So nothing is perfect. All right, what else do we see? I'm sure that you guys are seeing something that I'm missing and you're screaming right now. I know I see the tag down here, and I've shared with you guys I don't like leaving the tags because I find that that causes cane dieback. And sure enough, there was a tag right here, and that cane is dead. So let's get that out of there. Do you see how this one is touching right here, this cane? So let's go ahead and take that one out. We're looking at the overall shape. It's somewhat rounded. I might bring down this front a little bit. I think that's good enough for now. As you know, I partner with Bonide, so they send me products to be able to use in my garden and share with you. So what I'm going to do now is spray the horticultural oil first, because the horticultural oil is going to suppress any bugs and fungus. Let's get it on all of the tips here so that when I use my Bonide prune and sealer, that the brush won't get any kind of fungus from each cane that I'm using in case they're infected. So let's spray this down. I spray it until they're dripping, and you'll see even the little tiny leaves here that I've accidentally left get all of those nicks and crannies because they can harbor the bugs. So when we're thinking about suppressing fungus, we're going to spray all of these canes really good to dripping that could have black spot, because this is a suppressant. If you think about oil, it is going to suffocate the bugs immediately. As soon as it's dry, it's not an issue. So I'm also going to spray the soil around my rows in case there's any bugs that have overwintered in that soil. So now that we're done, and I should add, you want to use your horticultural oil when the temperature is above 40 degrees so that it is effective. We're going to let this dry and then come back and do all of our canes. We have cane borers here, and we want to make sure that we're giving them a little bit of a deterrent. Will they get through it? They could if they are really determined, but it's definitely going to help to keep the cane borers away. It's just a good practice to get into. If somebody says, well, they're not really out right now, I don't know when they come out, to be honest with you, so I'm just going to put it in. All right, so through the miracle of television, let's say that we're done. And there you go. We are taming a rose that really was growing out of control. I can't wait to share it with you this season. So thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.